Hello there and welcome to another edition of Channels Beam. I am Victor Matthias. Now, the 2015 elections may have come and gone, but issues still trail the conduct of the exercise that has been adjudged by many as free, fair and credible. On Channels Beam today, we will be looking at what transpired and the general feeling amongst Nigerians. But first, let's take a look at other stories that made the headlines in the past week. A report brought to the fore the devastation that the dreaded Boko Haram group left in its trail in the northeastern town of Goza. That got Nigerians shifting their attention from the elections to urge authorities to begin rehabilitation of the town. Some politicians who lost out in the just concluded elections called the winners to congratulate them, while some failed to do so. Seen as a watershed in Nigeria's political history, tweets castigated those who failed to toe that line. Well, those were the trends. Let's now meet our contributors and see what they think about the election. But you too can be a part of it by sending your comments by tweeting at me, that's at Victor_MBIDI, at Channels Beam, and at Channels TV.
It was unnecessarily bureaucratic. I think it's something that could have been done in a day, maximum 2 days, even a year. I really don't see any point in, first of all, you have to queue to accredit yourself, and then you have to come back to vote. I think it can be done in one step, really. That's a lot of time. Some people queued or stayed on the queue for about 8 hours in total just to cast their vote. I think it's unnecessary. And again, you can see that we're still struggling with a lot of logistics. Some people couldn't keep the time. INEC staff didn't get to ballot to the polling unit on time. And then you can see that there was intentional sabotage, or people were intentionally trying to delay the whole process and trying to sabotage even the card readers in some parts of the country. So it's a step up from where we're coming from. If you look at the history of elections in Nigeria, it's a step up. It's a step up from there, and that's mostly down to the card readers. But there's still a lot of areas of improvement, and we can do better, and we should be doing better. We had to wait for 3 days after the elections to actually hear the president-elect declared by the INEC chairman, and unfortunately it fell on April Fool's Day. We just hope no one will come back tomorrow to say it didn't happen.
Carol made some very interesting points, and I totally agree with everything he said. For me, this election experience was one that was needlessly drawn out, but I need to commend Professor Attahiru Jega for being meticulous. He did his best to keep to the rules. We saw a man who understood the rules of elections as written in our constitution, as written in our electoral laws, and kept to them. He worked down to forcing the returning officers from the states to read from the election result sheets, down to being patient enough to explain to everybody the I think 19 steps in a presidential election. So as drawn out as it was, it's a fault of our constitution as is. It's a fault of the guidelines as is. And I agree with Carol that we can only get better from here.
I align with what they've said. What I just want to add is that I'm still hoping to see the figures, the percentile figures of this election. I want to know, are people getting more confident in the democratic process? I think that people are actually believing under this government that their votes will count, and that may have reflected in the willingness of the people to come out on Saturday and vote. I also think that people will now realize the importance of their vote going forward, and I think it will, the immediate effect will be the April 11 election coming. I think we'll see more voters coming out to vote for their governors, and I think that's good for democracy, because on a personal level, I think that the gubernatorial elections are more important, or will be more important for the people of a particular state than the federal elections. So and that of the houses of assembly as well. So I think the confidence is good in the electoral process. I think in 2019 we are going to see more people come forward. We are going to see a near perfect democracy where the voter is king. Where people know that if you don't perform after 4 years, you can be booted out. So as a leader, you are not just implementing your own agenda or doing what you want, but you are doing what the people really want. And then if you want to take office, you don't need to go and hire thugs. You don't need to try to compromise the officials. You need to try to compromise the system. You just need to campaign to the people. You need to to toast the people, as it were, as we say in Nigeria. So you need to woo them over to your side. So I think the voter is going to become king. It's good for our democracy. Of course, like Carol said, there are election irregularities. The underage voting issue is a problem that we need to look into going forward. We heard also of a governor in the southeast who tore result sheets. We've heard of people not accepting the results and then trying to subvert the process, and all sorts of irregularities that people have been alleging at the collating center. I think going forward towards subsequent elections, maybe not by April 11, but maybe for 2019, we need to look into those. But all in all, I think it is a good one. It is thumbs up for Professor Tahiru Jega, thumbs up for all the staff of INEC, thumbs up to President Goodluck Jonathan, and thumbs up to President-elect Muhammadu Buhari.
Generally, for this process, like the book I read most, a portion of it says, "And the light shines in darkness, and darkness could not comprehend it." But I think the situation in Nigeria becomes that the fact that there is light and that the light has shined in darkness does not mean we should entertain darkness, because right now the darkness is present. So we should look for every way to eliminate the darkness so that the intensity of our light can be so much reflected. And in general, I would say, on the overall, INEC has proven to be credible enough. But I think the little foxes are still, spoiling their vines, and if we do not tackle these issues, it could lead to a credibility issue in the long run. But for now, I think so far the will of the Nigerians have prevailed. We can say let's give INEC a pass mark. I think for now we should give INEC a pass mark. Most often says a dead fly makes the scent of an apothecary stinky. So we should look forward to remove the dead flies from our apothecary.
I think I'm so happy for Nigeria. I'm so happy for Africa. The democracy can only be strengthened and move on from now on. And like General Buhari said, that he believed in '91 when USSR fell that you can actually make a change without firing a shot. And though few shots were fired and people died, but really it wasn't by the barrel of the gun. It wasn't the military takeover. It was through democracy, and the people came out to vote. So I'm happy that happened. Even though, to be honest, I still feel really bad about this whole campaign process, because it was, I think it was a campaign of hate. It was a campaign of calumny. It was disgrace. It was a disgrace, to be honest. I hope politicians can do better, because even those that have lost, I saw lots of institutions of the government, like respectable institutions of the government, were so compromised, and it was a shame to see that as a Nigerian, even though right now not in Nigeria, but it was a shame to see. I would have expected more campaign-based, issues-based campaign. Talk about what you want to do, and talk about the government, talk about the performance of the government, rather than going into the private lives of people. And to be honest, there was a point he really went overboard, and went on personal hate and divisions, ethnic and religious divisions, which is a really sad thing, to be honest with you. I just hope we get better from here, and people have learned, and we will try to hopefully see a difference come from now to 11th of April, when the gubernatorial candidates come forward to come forward in their votes, and I hope the people will come out and then vote and make sure Nigeria gets better, because the governorship candidates are as even important as the president, because we really don't want to have governors who are really incompetent in high places in states in Nigeria. So we just hope it gets better from now on.
I live in Nigeria. Binia lives in Nigeria as well. Carol lives in the UK. And we are all Nigerians, but well, we understand some realities, and that is that these things are evolving. I'm happy. I choose to focus on the positives. I'm happy that in 2011, when a candidate won and a candidate lost, there was violence, in many parts of the country. 4 years after, this is 2015, a candidate won, another candidate lost, but there are not too many reports of violence from any part of the country. So it is a movement forward.
The clear difference is that the people here tend to concentrate on issue-based campaigns and just the selling of their brand. So, and that means solely they are working on the advertisement of their brand. But in Nigeria, you have to settle godfathers, settle some groups to endorse you. So I think that's the difference. The money we spend that is spent on unnecessary acquisition of endorsement, which necessarily does not turn into votes. I think that's the major difference between their financial methodology in Ukraine and in Nigeria. So I think advertisement is the same everywhere in the world. People, everybody wants to sell his or her brand, and they will go through any length to do that. So, but the difference now becomes how much money is spent on bribing people and getting some kind of groups to endorse.
In politics, you have to spend money. You, for one, Victor, will know how much. I don't know if you're in the finance department of Channels TV, but you know how much you guys have got this campaign period. So so a lot of money will have been spent, and those are legitimate money because you have to do campaigns. You have to run flyers at TV, radio, online, and print media. But like Victor, the other Victor said, I think there was too much money that went down in bribing people from here and there. Like I said, I think the Naira felt the impact the most because it wasn't. They were not bribing in Naira; they were bribing in dollars, thousands and millions of dollars. So, and obviously, the demand for dollars would have definitely affected the Naira, even though it sort of like unfortunately coincided with the drop in the price of oil. But definitely, this election period, obviously, uncertainties, investors are not sure what's going to happen. So all that really affected Naira. And I think now that they've stopped spending, and it's not really the Buhari effect per se, it's just because now there's less stress and demand for dollars, and the Naira should start to kind of stabilize, and we'll see how it goes in the next few days, weeks, and months.
Well, there you go. That's their thoughts, but keep sending yours. And also, remember, you can watch this and other episodes again by visiting youtube.com/channelsweb/channelsbeam. Go on a break and we'll return for more analysis. Please stay with us.